Cultivate tomorrow. Today. Welcome to Tend, where you'll play as an interstellar pioneer sponsored by Zenith Corp. Your mission? Build a thriving homestead on an uncharted world, filling your cargo with valuable goods to advance Zenith Corp's research. Which makes me ask the question, if I'm stationed on the planet with a bunch of other Zenith Corp pioneers, why can't they just send somebody to research my farm? Why do I gotta send them back?
Controlled environment.
That's true. A good point. Just one more thing about this. Tom Vassell says, this is the best game of its genre. The Smurfenright is what he calls them, I guess. Which is, I think, because he's wearing a blue hat. That I have ever played. I want to keep playing it over and over. Thank you, Tom. Can we use Tom's words on the when we're puffing the game? I think we can, right?
Today on the board, boys.
Tom Vassell's Smurfenright favorite, Tend.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Board Boys podcast, Season 17, Episode 9. This is your boy, Tendy's Rob.
This is your boy, Tenderoni, TK.
Ooh, this is your boy, Tendendi and Meatballs, Jake.
And this is your boy, Nintendo. Wait for it. 64. Nintendo 67.
No, don't do it.
AKA Cam, AKA Boinky McDoinky.
How about tendinitis?
Oh, tendinitis.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah.
Now that you're an old man.
Now that I'm an old man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I know what 6'7" means.
Ugh.
What's it mean, Cam?
It's from a song by a young rapping individual. Yeah, where he talks about a person being 6'7".
But
And
it truly means nothing.
It truly does mean nothing.
It's a filler. Much like, and I've seen all these videos, and they're like things that kids say today, and then they're like things that like we probably said when we were kids. I'm like, it's always existed to some extent.
Well, you know what? Like, a lot of Zoomer or Gen Alpha lingo is just stuff that I would say like in a goofy tone of voice with like buddies in like bands and stuff when I was in my 20s. Like how like kids talk about like what are some of the big things that kids say? There's like bruh. We've been saying bruh for years. People talking about things slapping, that slaps. Like, I've been saying slap since I was in diapers.
Cook is a big one.
Yeah, I've been saying stuff cook since I was in diapers. It's just like, they're just using stuff that, see, we were on the fringe, and then the fringe becomes the mainstream, which I actually was the guy who rapped the 6'7" song.
Yeah, where you talked about someone being 6'7".
And I did it in 2005.
Yeah. In DJ
Dad MC Mom.
DJ Dad MC Mom.
When I was MC Sack Disaster, which is where that name came from.
When Bo says 6'7", I just ask him if he knows what 369 means.
Yeah. Tim can attest, I wasn't a different guy, but I was living a different life.
Yes.
This was pre-heart medicine, Cam.
Yeah.
Pre-glasses, pre-heart medicine.
Having to cool off a bit when I get too hyped. I was nothing but energy back then.
Yeah. All E1 all the time.
All E1 all the time, baby. Can I just say something about Tend before we get into the what have you been playing discussion? I was just looking at their website because I was looking for a good blurb because this game has a great presentation on the back of the box. It shows you the whole game. It says stuff about the mechanics, but there's not much of a like strap on your helmet and jettison your guy in your cargo pod onto your farm where you will meet purple beasts and Yamatos and you know what I'm saying? Like there's just like the Zenith Corp and like they don't really say who that is. They might be good, they might be evil, but they got Corp on the back of their name.
That's
so
for the sequel.
Let's ask Ethan what he thinks.
I'm gonna equate them to like InGen.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe they're like what's the one in Aliens?
Nutaki or something like that.
I should know this. I've been watching a bunch of that show.
It's like a Japanese corporation, right?
Yeah, there's like five big corporations that kind of rule. It's not Nutellacorp.
So anyway, the website, they have a bunch of blurbs from like game podcasts and media presences, and they're all like, I normally don't like blank and rights, but this is the best one.
Wayland Yutani is the one I'm thinking of.
Wayland Yutani?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good name.
Yeah, they make all the cybernetic peoples.
Is it Wei Lin like a Chinese, or is it Wayland like
Wayland
Wayland
dash Utani.
Ah,
There must have been a merger, at some
yeah,
point. I think so.
like a Pacific Ocean merger. You know,
Exactly.
the East meets West.
I am pretty excited about the new Predator. Talking about aliens, the new Predator movie that's out. It's supposed to be pretty good. Predator Badlands. They're making that into a whole big old universe. There was a cartoon that was out on some streaming service. It was a Predator cartoon, super bloody. It was R-rated. It was very good.
Do you know what streaming it's on? What service?
Oh boy. I want to say it was on... Doesn't Disney own all that? It might have been on Disney. It's not?
I have no idea. I haven't seen a Predator movie since Predator 2.
It's very good. If you haven't seen one, Prey is very good. That's on Hulu.
Oh, no. I watched Predator versus Alien, and I believe
watched
that
that
one
one
was
too.
terrible, right?
That one's pretty bad.
That is
Okay.
Predator
that
versus
is way on
Alien
the
its
end.
own thing that's not Alien versus Predator, or are you just saying Predator versus Alien the way I called Bert and Ernie and Bert?
Yes, probably. Yeah. Whatever one where they show up in some pyramid, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Alien versus Predator.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can watch that on Hulu or Disney Plus. But it's basically like 3 stories throughout history of basically predators coming to Earth, and like these humans best them, and then they capture them, and then like they bring them to the predator planet and like try to make them fight because they're like the most badass people like throughout time. And they must be able to cryogenically freeze them because, you know, you've got like an ancient samurai guy against a guy from World War II against somebody else.
There
That I
seems
can't
to be a
remember.
technology advantage involved there.
It is, and they give, yeah, it's really funny too because they give the guy like a sword and they give one guy like a gun, and they, you know,
Arnold Schwarzenegger was not there.
no, but they're
Mm.
talking about trying to get him back into like another one of those movies. So he went from actor. Well, I guess he went from weightlifter to actor
To
to
governator.
governor, the governator.
It's
I
a
like
guy
that.
who can't get knocked over by a young person's drop kick. Did you guys see that, where some guy tried to jump him? So Arnold Schwarzenegger is in like doing some publicity thing in Africa, and he's like 80 years old, or so, you know, he's not 80, but he's like 70, and he's in like this gym, just like getting mobbed by people, like in a friendly way, like people are like want to meet him. And this like 19-year-old dude like comes running up behind him and drop kicks him, like both legs off the ground, horizontal, full kick to his back. And like he doesn't even flinch. And the guy just drops to the floor.
I'm sure Arnold is still pretty well built.
That's pimp, right? Like,
Yeah.
we can all agree that's pimp. The Gen Alpha isn't really using that one.
No, there's certain things that I think are more off limits now. I saw something on the news today about a guy that threw a sandwich at some cops and ran away, and they didn't end up pressing charges. I don't know why, but I thought that was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. It was like on like the morning show or something, and I'm not sure why it was even in the news. I don't know why the guy was mad. It would look like it was maybe at a protest or something, but the dude has like a foot-long sub, and he just chucks it. I'm sure if you Google this, you can find the video.
In or out the wrapper.
I think it like came out of the wrapper as he was throwing it, but then like the dude just turns and starts running, and then there's like 4 guys chasing him. That's all I know about the
And
story.
they didn't arrest him?
I think they did, but they didn't end up like
Keeping him in like... I mean, I think that if you throw a sandwich at a cop, like I think it's fair that you get tackled and they get to like chew you out. And then like, if you don't go to jail, I think that's like, you kind of got what you deserved, right?
I think it might have been throwing it at an ICE agent, actually. Yeah, as a federal agent. All right, well, let's get into some games we've been playing. I've got one that is in line with the game we played tonight, and it is called The Hobbit, There and Back Again. Alternate name, Le Hobbit. I'm not going to say the rest of that because I don't know French. The designer is Reiner Knizia, and the publisher is Office Dog. The Hobbit There and Back Again is a roll and write. It's a pure roll and write. You roll 5 dice, you draft the dice, and you're either gathering like swords or bread, or you're drawing on this little map.
I want to play this. I don't care what it is. I just want to play a roll and write.
And there's 8 maps, and every map has different rules, and you're basically playing through the story of The Hobbit. I've only played the first one so far, but you're basically trying to get all the dwarves connected to Bilbo's house. And
That's the first one.
yeah, and you
Okay.
have to have a food for each of them, and you score more points that way. If they show up hungry and you don't have the food, you don't score as many points. And you
Wait.
get a bonus points if you're the first person to connect Gandalf and the first person to connect Thorin.
So they do show up hungry, and then you have to have food for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you get points. The more people you connect, the more points you get. And there's bonus points for more food or having the food when they get there at that exact time. So like at the moment you connect them, if you also have the food for them, you get the points. If not, you cross those points out and you don't get them. You also can just, in this one, you just collect swords and you collect those as tokens and you get points for that. Now, map 2, you're still, drawing stuff and moving around on the map, but the other objectives are completely different. So, and you can play like 7 and 8 normally by themselves, or you can play it kind of as like an epic game because it's kind of the finale of The Hobbit with those 2 stories. So anyway, the game is like half an hour long, and it's, if you know how to play a roll and write, it's going to make sense to you about your connecting paths. That part kind of reminded me of Railroad Inc. a little bit just by doing the connections, but it's cool. I think the big twist to it is the game, at least the first map, ends when someone connects the last dwarf, and the real strategy is to try to connect, at least I think, a bunch of the paths together, and like you can dunk a bunch of them at the same time because they can all share the same road if you've like made a network good enough. But as soon as somebody does that, you end the game. So you have to pay attention to what everybody else is doing. It only plays up to 4 people. So I did not really do that the second time I played. And all of a sudden, like I was probably 2 turns away from ending it. And somebody ended it. I'm like, oh crap. And I didn't score like nearly as many points as I would have. So
Because you went there and you didn't get back again?
exactly. So for a roll and write, I feel like it has that, and there's drafting involved too. There's a little bit of player interaction there, especially because the length is variable and it can end at any time. So it's not like you get to finish the round or like play one more round or something. As soon as it happens, it's done. And I think even if they draft a dice before you get to draft a dice, it's done. Like it's that instant. So anyway, there and back again, A Hobbit. If you like Lord of the Rings and roll and writes, check it out. It seems pretty fun so far.
Can I regale you guys? Well, I think you had a question about the game, so you should ask that.
There's 8 scenarios, right?
There are 8 scenarios.
Yeah, they were like thick, like
yeah. These books are like they're like thick. What I imagine, think of like little kids books, right? Like with the thick plasticky pages,
like the board books.
Yeah, like a board book. Yeah, that's basically what it is. So over half the box are these giant like books that you open up and have the different maps on them.
It looked cool.
Yeah, and it's all dry erase. The dry erase markers in the box are actually pretty good. So
that's hard to find. You go out and buy dry erase markers and try to get a good one. You have like a 75% chance of failing.
That is true. That's why we bought them in bulk before the con, because we played a few different games that required them.
I bought a bunch of different brands when I did that print and play of that 4X game that you guys still haven't tried, which is fun. It was worth the $9 or whatever I paid for it. It's called I can't remember what it's called. Rise of the Oak Dell or something like that. Did we never talk about this?
I don't think so.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I backed a print and play roll and write, and it came with like their other 2 print and play roll and writes. And one's a dungeon crawler, one's a town builder or city like 4X game, and one's like a something else. Anyway, no, it's a town builder, a 4X, and a dungeon crawler. What I really wanted to say though, in response to Rob's end of the Hobbit game, is I just had, I think, the worst end of a game I've ever had in any game ever. Because I was playing Dinogenics on BGA a couple days ago with one of my homies, and I forgot to feed my T-Rex on the last run, and he rampaged and killed a dude and damaged a building and a fence, and then I had an Ankylosaurus in there because they can hang out with other dinos, and he rampaged and killed a dude and destroyed a fence, and damaged a building, and then that got into where the Bronto was, and he damage the fence and destroy the building and kill the
Is this a
dude.
plot of the Jurassic Park movie?
No, I mean, it is. Like, that's what happened. Like, I don't think you're supposed to have a rampage at the end of the game. But fortunately, I'd done really well, so I ended up winning the game by 1 point. But I lost like 40 points or something like that from what happened. And it was just funny to watch because, like, BGA is doing all the work for me.
It's even better that way. Can you imagine how stressful that would have been if you were doing it manually? Uh-oh.
And like,
Uh-oh.
you know you can get like a no result on like that, and it was all herbivores after the T-Rex. Anyway, that's man, that game's fun. I think it's my favorite dino game now that I've played it a bunch on BGA.
Join my side, Cam.
I think I like it the same amount as Dino World and Draftosaurs, and those 3 games I think are equal in fun to me. So there we go. Anyway, what else you guys been playing?
I have a game I want to talk about. So I just finished a Kickstarter I had gotten in September. It's called Storyfold WildWoods. And so it is, I think the intention is it's going to be like a series, the Storyfold design. But so what drew me to it is I had just finished playing Legacy of You when I found this. And it's designed to just be like instant setup and tear down. So basically you have a big like bound book with like the coil bounds, and you flip to a page and then it gives you your actions. And then there's 2 sides that pull out, and that's where you put your cards and your dice, etc. There are in this game, and I guess the designer is Sjoerd Vandelinde, and it's Open Owl Studios. I think this is the first game by the designer, and I know they said, kind of depending on how it does, is whether it potentially opens others. It's kind of like a reverse Arc Nova in the fact that there are action cards that are out, and you are trying to accomplish successes, and the success is based on the die you roll at whatever level it's at. So the further to the left it is, it's 3. So a 3 or higher is going to be a success. All the way up to the on the farthest right, it's a 6 or plus is a success. And so basically in each chapter you play, there are scenarios, there are certain things that you have to obtain to be able to move forward. And then, successes, what you do in the map are going to potentially flip story cards, which make some adjustments in there. I ultimately really enjoyed it. It was a really fun experience. I have found that the campaign type game that I like the most are ones that you more or less are playing the same game, but just with different criteria of what you're ultimately trying to accomplish. And this one, each chapter takes about 45 minutes, and there's different different ways that they progress and how much happens, and depending on what your actions are, it potentially can take you to different routes in how the story progresses. But it was really neat. I would say the only thing I don't love about it is at the end, it ultimately boils down to you decide how many of your dice you want to commit to an action. And even if you have, planned everything out the best possible way to where on your final turn, you have the card you need to resolve in the lowest position, and you roll dice and you just don't get those outcomes, then there's just nothing you can do about it in that case. But there's a lot of really clever maneuvering of how you get the action cards where you want them to be. And then when creatures come out, they kind of disrupt that flow. So if you like games that you can, play the same game a couple times and a story is involved in it, I really recommend it. It's a really cool theme, and the production value is really nice, and it's really cheap. It's like $30. I think it's available at Barnes & Noble. For whatever reason, I think they picked it up, and it's available at most of those locations. But again, it's Storyfold WildWoods. It's really neat.
So did you say this is like it's going to be Storyfold's?
I
blah,
think
blah,
so.
blah.
I think so. Yep.
Okay.
So Storyfold is just like the vehicle of how it sets up and how you push things off to the side.
The dice thing seems like the opposite of a Jake game.
So it is. You're right. And ultimately, it's kind of hard to not win, I feel like. And maybe that's not entirely true. I didn't lose any of the scenarios that I played, because you can kind of manage things, but there did come down to a couple times where I had set everything up, I just didn't get the outcome I needed, and then I was able to kind of like finagle my way through it before it ended, which that's not great. So that's what's making it, that's what would make me say it's not like a Legacy of You or, like a Hadrian's Wall campaign where, which I know there's some flex in that too with how the picks attack. But ultimately, I did still really enjoy it, and I think because it's a smaller package where the games don't necessarily take that long, that probably made me not care as much. But yeah, generally that's not a Jake thing.
Yeah, I like I'm kind of looking at it now. Like the flip book seems cool, and like just you kind of almost play out of the box, kind of.
Exactly. So basically, you open it, you go to the page, you flip the two sides out, you put your cards on the things, and you slide your cards around on the river.
I love production like that.
Yeah.
It's cool. But like once you've played it, or
you can certainly go back and do it. There's different outcomes. So a lot of times in those scenarios, it'll give you like branching paths of which way you want to choose.
Okay.
So that I think will adjust the cards that get in your deck.
So there's a little bit of replayability.
Yeah, and then based on I don't think this is really a spoiler, but there are instances because the theme is basically there's shadows overtaking the forest, and Luma is the main character, and she's got a bear friend Brahm, and you're going through, but there's animals that come up, and you can take kind of deviated paths to save those animals, even if it doesn't necessarily move you to winning that scenario. And by doing that, that puts different things and cards in the deck. So again, it's really neat though. If you like solo games and anything about that sounds interesting, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I might have to check that out.
Can I talk about? Or I don't think we're going to do an episode on it. I don't think Critter Kitchen.
Sure.
I got this played a couple days ago. Picked it up on a game trade from oh man, I can't remember his name, but he's a super good guy. Sorry if you're listening, my brain's fried. This is by the Flamecraft people who I wasn't like so zazzed on Flamecraft, the concept, when it came out. I think a lot of people saw the art and they were like, this game is what I've always wanted. But now AI can just make that art, so you know what I'm saying?
Wah, wah.
Somebody decided to make sure that like Miyazaki style art became like the number one style of art for AI to manufacture. Just kidding, Flamecraft. Yours looks better. Anyway, I was excited about this game because it's a game where I was excited for the mechanism because you like secretly bid where you're going to go to get ingredients for your restaurant. And it's kind of like Nidavellir, but you don't have to like stress about coins because you just have like a little guy, a big guy, and a medium guy, and who like the little guy goes first, but the big guy can carry more stuff, right? And then the other reason I was excited is because I like games about restaurants. I think everybody knows that. So play super fast if you play super fast, right? Like there's not a lot of like downtime in the game because basically you just program where your guys are going to go behind a screen. You pop them, you put them down on like the locations they're going to, and then little guy goes first, big guy goes last, and if there's a tie, whoever has basically got the initiative bumps their guy back in the initiative and goes first, and then the next time there's a clash, the person who has the better initiative will take it. And then you just like basically you go to the spot, pick ingredients. The little guy can take one thing, the medium guy can take two, the big guy takes three. You get to the end of the day, there's like a special place at the beginning that gives you like crappy but wild tokens that can replace any ingredient. Then there's a bunch of ingredients. Then the last place can give you like a sous chef who acts as like an extra worker in the next round. And all of the ingredients that didn't get picked that day show up there as well. And then you're just basically you do that 3 times. And then at the end of those 3 rounds, you build 3 dishes and score them. Then you do 3 more rounds, you build 3 more dishes and score them. And then you look at all your stuff you have remaining and do like a fancy dish for the critic with all 7 of the different types of ingredients. However, there's a bunch of different critics you can play. And they will either change the rules of the game or they'll have like special stuff going on, like when you make their meal. Like I think the mouse, like basically you can substitute cheese for any of the other things because he's just always happy to have more cheese, right? There's a lot of little things you can add into the game. Like basic in the game there's also like 3 secret rumors you can like get the ability to look at, and like that'll change like the end game scoring a little bit or certain things. And then there's what you can add to the game is there's like restaurateurs, so like character cards to give you a special ability. You're welcome, Rob. And then there's a couple other things as well, I think, that can throw a wrench and make the game a little more complex. But then also there's a solo version where you can play against all of the different critics. Like they each have like there's like one mission for each critic card that you can have in the game. I think this game could probably be played in about 45 minutes. And it has a really nice table presence, and you're pretty much never not playing because the whole game is either programming or just going like building your dishes or like going through the program. So I think this has an easy shot. Like I just played it once. But like if I didn't find the like the strategy to be like super taxing because you end up getting like use most of your stuff at the end of the game. But I feel like if you add some of the stuff and like because of the way the game scores, it could end up being really competitive because it's like it's one of those things where you score on like a rubric where like if your dish is worth 10 to 19 points, you get 1 star. And if it's worth 20 to 25 points, you get so like basically the point spread stays close because you're like distilling each of your plates down from like a huge score to like a couple of points. So anyway, Critter Kitchen, I thought it was tight. I liked Flamecraft. This game, I think, plays like a bazillion times faster and gives the same kind of fun vibe. Oh, art is really good in this one too. And each of the different, like, each of the restaurants has a, like, the same type of characters, like a pig and a lizard and a mouse. But all of, like, your player boards have, like, different art on them, like, shows, like, a different pig, lizard, and mouse working in a kitchen together. And, like, your privacy screen has, like, a different restaurant front. It's like, they definitely didn't spare any like sweet art at all for this. So if you like that kind of thing, I don't know. I just think this. I didn't really hear about this game until I had the opportunity to get it live or used, and I think that's too bad because it seems like it should have smashed.
Yeah, I think it flew under the radar opposed to Flamecraft. And you're the first person. I guess I haven't talked to a lot of people about it, but that it has liked it more. So I'm interested to give it a shot.
I don't think that I think I'd be in the minority saying I'd like it more, but I just because again I tend to value like slick mechanics and like being able to crank through something and play it a bunch of times a bunch of different ways more than like the vibe of the game. Plus I like the restaurant vibe better, but I will say that like it's definitely not as whimsical in the like it doesn't look like Miyazaki, like the art style is like more modern. But it is like fantasy animals still, where it's like mice with like wings and like lions with purple hair and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have a tangent and a tangent to that tangent.
Get tangential, baby.
So my first tangent is I just saw that they're coming out with a Overcooked reality competition series on Netflix.
Oh, really? Like
based on the video game?
So like they set up like a room like hidden treasures of the Lost Temple for like adults or something like
Legend
that.
of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Red Jaguars.
Hidden treasures of the Lost Ark.
I have no idea what it is, but they've announced it. So,
but that is awesome. Like if you have to like cook a bunch of hamburgers where there's like a moving floor and you have to like go get the ingredients every time and that's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, that's coming out. And that's
you have to throw stuff across like a pond.
You're like blocked.
Yeah.
And
A plane
A24
crashes
is
in the
doing
middle.
it, and they do a bunch of cool movies and stuff. So they're a pretty good production company. So
do you have another tertiary tangent for us?
yes. So I went from the Critter Kitchen to a video game.
Right. That was secondary.
Show.
That was secondary.
Yeah,
Now this is
But now I'm
tertiary.
going on to another.
Yeah.
Off of that,
Yeah, it's a tertiary tangent.
I want to talk about The Floor because it's a game show.
Oh man, I haven't seen the most recent season of that, but you can spoil it. It's okay.
Okay, I just want to talk about the gimmick this season. Is kind of goofy. Basically, there's 2 people from every state, and so when you're up there, you're like, that person's from Idaho or whatever. And then when the second one gets eliminated, they like black their state out and like they're gone. I don't think they're going to do anything extra with it, but because it's 100 people, they can have 2 people from every state.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. The Iowa person, I've only seen one of them and they're still in as far as I know.
Nice.
The other thing they're doing and is making the show just more entertaining is, Cam, when you win 3 in a row, you could get like the time boost, which would give you 5 more seconds.
That was a big
stuff.
change to that show, and it was really good because it incentivizes the.
But
play
they
ahead.
added something that lets it game even harder now.
Oh no!
When you win 3 in a row, you can take that time boost, or you can do a category steal and steal any other category on the floor.
What? So that people can like have to fight you on something you know a lot about.
Yeah. So this person makes this monster play to go to the middle and they stay up there and they basically just steal the person's category and then fight them. And then they beat them because they like swapped categories with them.
Oh, because they knew a lot about the category they gave to the person.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly how it went down, but it's making people play way more aggro instead of being like, oh, I won. Now I'm going to go hide in the corner. People are like, when they're up there, they're like going hard and like trying to stay up there. And it has changed. Maybe it's just the people out there, but it's changed the dynamic of the game a little bit, I think. whether you play. The problem is when you own half the floor, everyone is touching you, and so and they all are like, well, if they can own that at the end, you get like $20,000.
Yeah.
So usually that just like bops between a bunch of people. Nobody can hold on to it because inevitably you get bad luck and like you get the random like pictures of things that you don't know or like nobody knows, and the other person, the category is animal and they get dog and you get some deep ocean fish.
That's
that
why
no
you
one's
got to be
ever heard
serious.
of.
You got to be serious with your categories because, like, can you imagine, Rob, if you like you
Oh.
want
Somebody had Monopoly and they were just showing Monopoly spaces on the board
I'd crush that.
or
But
pieces.
I would crush every single category. Like when I watch the floor, it's like 6 duels where I'm like, I know everything about this, and then one
Campbell.
duel where it's like I don't know anything about it.
For next Capital City Gaming Con,
We do the floor.
we should create the floor game show. I don't know how we would do it.
I don't want to play now that I said I'm so good though.
You got to play it.
Now I gotta play.
We could make like a 16, or like we could make like I don't know, like a 5x5 grid or something, and then we just got to make a bunch of categories.
Yeah,
Dude, that'd be sick.
we do the floor.
That seems like a lot of work,
That does seem like a lot of work.
but could you imagine the people?
Bo's like over here, like
Like
being
the
I
people
could do
whose
it.
job it is to like go find all the pictures for like the slides shows for that thing. Anyway,
Pretty soon they're not going to have to anymore. They can just have AI do it. What's up, Bo? Bo wants to hop in on the floor action here. Just say something, Bo. Here you go,
So based on the floor, I would be the host.
dude. You and Bo could be the host and be Rob Bo.
kind of like Rob Lowe.
Yeah, but you're Rob, Bo.
Got it. All right. Well,
Dude, you guys could do it like one of those like twin, like one of those like twin suits that like 2 people can be in.
where it's like stitched together on the side,
Exactly.
or like it shares the same leg.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That sounds uncomfortable. I don't want to be that close to my child.
Okay, well, you don't have to do the suit. You don't have to do the suit. We could be Rob Bo.
That's true. It's really funny. There was a category that was talking about the Brat Pack, and the person was like, they didn't even know what the category was, and like Rob Lowe was in the Brat, like in the thing.
There have been so many floor
I guess that
categories
guy's pretty funny. Or
where Rob Lowe's like in it, and then they don't get it right, and Rob Lowe like looks at the camera all disappointed.
I love when they cut to him and he's like,
Yeah, Rob made a Rob Lowe looking up like flabbergasted that the person didn't get it face.
oh, there was also, if you watch this season, Campbell, you'll have to tell me when you get to the guy that just shouts nonsense the whole time.
Like at his opponents, or like
I think it was a tactic.
to try to get the other people to mess up.
Yes,
So he's trying to be the Arthur Chew of the floor, where like everybody hates him.
I think so. It was really funny though.
My wife did not love Dante from Clerks' big run. She thought she kept calling him the clown because of his hockey jersey. She said he looked like a clown.
Was it actually Dante from Clerks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dante
okay.
from Clerks was on the show, and he won like $150,000
Yeah.
because he was he had the most floor for like 7 episodes in a row.
There were this season. There's 2 or 3 semi-famous people on there too.
A lot of people. So like
Like only famous enough to like you wouldn't be mad if they won a little bit of money.
yeah, right. You know what's funny is in Peru, when they have like famous people shows, like where they're like a competition for famous people, it's not for charity. It's just like for them. They just get the money if they win.
To each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I do have 2 quick things I want to talk about game-wise, and they're both expansions. One is to the Lost Ruins of Arnak. I have played the Spider Temple side of the Twisted Paths, and this expansion just adds like a few cards, a few more tiles, a few more people, a couple more sites, but the Spider Temple side adds these things called Dark Tablets. And if you've ever played Lords of Waterdeep with the corruption, it works the exact same way. They really let you juice up your actions, but then you lose points based on how many times you did that in the game compared to everybody else. And you do that because as you go up the temple, you can slot in the artifacts and then activate them with the dark tablets. And every time you take a tablet at all in the game, you take it from the dark tablet track. And if those run out, then you take normal tablets. But so on that side, you only ever take the dark ones, and you can spend them as normal tablets, or you spend them as the dark tablets, and then they're gone forever, costing you points. I really liked this side of the board. It was cool, and it is another full board, just like the main game. So it's a double-sided main board. It's not like an overlay for the existing one. So it's just more, some more different like spots and locations on the left side to go explore, and some different costs there. So a little bit of mix-up. The other side is the Owl Temple. It looks like it has a bunch of Owl Temple tiles. I don't know what those are, but when I play that side, I'll come back and talk about it. I really thought that they didn't add any more characters in this expansion, which is unfortunate because I really like the different characters and how they play. It's really fun, but I thought this board was really cool, and whether you want to go hard into it or not, when I did not go as hard as my opponent did into the dark tablets, and they crushed me. Like, they got negative 40 points and still beat me. So you can't be afraid to get a little dirty with the dark tablets, I think. And then the other one was another deck builder. I played the Clank Catacombs Underworld expansion. And you guys played Clank Catacombs?
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, this is the one where you have the tiles and you kind of build out your own board as you go. What the Underworld does is basically add some new tiles to the base deck, but then there's a whole nother part where some of the new tiles you add in these ladders that basically connect to the Underworld. And the Underworld has a different currency, these Underworld coins, much like the Inferno game. And while you're down there, on your turn, you have to pay a coin, or you either take damage or you automatically have to add Clank. It's one of those two things. I can't remember. But it's super dangerous to be down there, but it's super juicy. There's like a whole different market you can buy from down there. There's different stuff. There's the Underworld Guardians at Cerberus. You can go down there and beat him and get a big bonus. And the problem is, if you end up down there, like we went down there like really early, and we probably shouldn't have gone down so early because I bounced right out. But then when you're down there, you can keep exploring around if you want, or you can exit out. And there's some new items, like there's a slide that just like slides you down there. I don't know. It's cool. It just takes up way more space because you basically need a whole nother section of your table just for the Underworld as opposed to the other one. So I think this was a good addition to Clank. I liked it better than the other expansion, actually. It added a bunch more cards, but it also added this thing called the Fate deck. And when you're down there, you can draw these cards that just are crazy. They give you crazy powers or like crazy points, and you can go explore and like find a bunch of those. Ben was down there and had a bunch of these cards, and I thought I ran out and got out, and I thought I killed him like a half a dozen times, and he just kept living because of just different shenanigans he had. And he ended up getting out and scoring, but he didn't get all the way out. I don't know. It definitely took it. I think it ratchets the game up to 11 as far as the danger goes.
And Catacombs is the base game's good too, right?
It is. It's like if I was going to just go recommend a normal game of Clank, Catacombs is my favorite.
Okay.
Do you hear some interesting trivia about Cerberus? The Beastie Boys named their rap personas after the three heads of Cerberus.
They named their what?
Their rap personas. So Mike D is one of the second head of Cerberus. Has been since the ancient Greece. Adrock, MCA. This joke is not planned.
It was a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
I was like, I don't know what services has their name. So
Yeah.
MCA, Adrock, and Mike D.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been like
Actually, Tony is named after the three heads of Cerberus. Tony. Tony.
all right.
Well, I've pretty much ruined that.
I'll just cut all that.
You don't need to. You can just let me.
Flounder.
You just let me step on balls there. A lot of people joined my music league that I created, DJ Steve Party Time or whatever. Thank you for talking about music league in a couple episodes ago, Tim.
Yeah, I should join that music league.
You should, dude. I
Yeah.
put it in the Discord.
Yeah.
It's gonna make a 75 song playlist because it has 25 people. They get 3 songs, but it's only party songs. I would never allow that many songs in a playlist that wasn't a party playlist. You know what I mean?
I'm in. I'm gonna join.
Yeah.
My first song is Andrew.
Andrew WK.
Yeah, Andrew WK.
All 3 of your songs should be Andrew WK.
Tight.
You better get ready to die. Get ready to die. Wasn't that one of the Andrew WK songs in it?
No.
I remember when that guy came out and like that first Andrew WK album, and it was the video was just him in like his fully white outfit because he would wear a white t-shirt and white jeans. You remember that?
No, I just remember him wrecking the Muse.
Oh yeah, he did come to the Muse and destroyed it. I forgot about that. Yeah. Do you remember when he broke his leg and he did a whole tour in a wheelchair?
No.
Where he's like playing the piano with like his leg out on his wheelchair. That guy is so funny. I gotta stop talking about Andrew WK. He told a really funny story on that show This Is Not Happening, where he talked about when he turned 18, he moved to New York City and he wanted a job so bad and he couldn't find a job. And so he auditioned to be a piano player at like this fancy nightclub, and he did not know how to play the piano. And what he didn't know was that the auditions to be the piano player were live, like while the club was open. So they called him up, and there's just all these like music snobs, and he tried to play Rocket Man by Elton John, and there was a whole band, and I think he said he wanted to play Rocket Man because he figured they just wouldn't know how to just pull that out, but the band of course knew how to play it. So, anyway, what a cool guy. But then you learned how to play piano.
All right, tonight on the podcast, we played Tend. It came out in 2025. It is currently ranked 7,724th overall. You farm, explore, and fish on a cozy alien world.
It is cozy.
It is currently ranked 7.8. It is 1 to 6 players, best 3 to 6. 60 to 90 minutes, ages 14 plus. The weight is 3.14 out of 5.
Pie.
The designer is Max Anderson, Zach Dixon, Austin Harrison, and Toby Sarnell. Artist is Kelly Nakamura, and the publisher is IV Studio. Campbell, why don't you tell us what you do in Tend?
So Tend is a flip and write where you get 2 big, huge pages a la Hadrian's Wall. But in addition to the big 2 huge pages, you also get a little scratch off card, like you're playing the lotto, that represents the forest and the mine near your alien farm. So 1 sheet plus the scratch off is like your workable land where you keep your farm and the pond you go fishing in, and it shows all the places where you can it shows basically your farm upgrades, the different crops and animals you can get for your farm, stuff like that. The other side is projects and your cargo board, where you're going to be taking a lot of the stuff you fish and farm and forage and mine for, and you're going to be sending it off in the cargo pod for points, or you're going to be using it to complete projects, which are either stuff that gives you like a little game boosty, or stuff that gives you points at the end of the game by like, hey, I've made a collection of stuff I found in the forest. Now I have the forest badge, etc. The game is played over 12 rounds, 3 eras where 5 action cards will come out. You get to choose the actions on 2 of those cards. The deeper you get into the game, the action cards all have like a choice of a couple different of your main tasks you can do, whether that's chopping, mining, tending, or fishing. And on the later cards you get, if you have completed a little objective on the card, you get an additional benefit. And so a big part of the game is trying to figure out, hey, how can I get the objectives completed on these cards so I can utilize them? Because first of all, the cards that you draw get shuffled back into the deck, so they may show up later. And second of all, you get to see 2 of them that are like the 2 new ones that are coming into the display. You get to see them a round in advance, so you can prepare to be able to try to do those things. That's basically what Tend is. If you're into the Harvest Moon / Stardew Valley milieu of games, this will feel very, very, very familiar. And if you are not familiar with that genre of games, you still know what a farm is, right? So Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty translatable, I think, sort of deal. The game comes with, like, if you have the fancy version, a bunch of stamper markers where you're like stamping the stuff that you get into your cargo box, and that's pretty fun. And then the scratch off sheets are something I've never seen in a board game before. That at least it was like I think I've seen stuff like that in like games that are meant to be like, legacy games or whatever, where you scratch something off and then it's just done. But like, I don't know, this is my first time seeing something like this, and they do have like an app version where if you run out of scratchies, then you can just play on, like, you can just open it up on your phone and like scratch the thing off. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, honestly, I think like basically if you have the PDFs of the game sheets, you can just play Tend completely from your phone, because there's a Tend app as well that just does all the housekeeping for you. And if you guys had played that on the app tonight, then you wouldn't have had that goofy thing you had with the cards. So huge disclaimer before we do the review. I was not here for the play. I've played this game a bunch of times. But these guys were playing where you don't recycle the fancier cards, and you just end up using the starter cards the whole time, with the exception of the 2 new cards coming down. And so they might have had a slightly different experience than I've had in my number of times playing this game.
All right, well, let's get to the table and come back with our thoughts on Tend. All right, we are back. Initial thoughts time on Tend. I'll go first. I remember seeing it on Kickstarter and being like, that looks cool. Scratch and sniff game. And then I was like, that's a big box. And I don't know. I'm not a big flipping right or anything kind of right guy. So yeah, I knew people were around here were picking it up, so I kind of let them do it.
Yeah, I mean, my initial thoughts were basically the same thing as I remember it coming out on Kickstarter. It looks very cool, but it's flipping right.
Ivy Studios definitely has a style.
Yeah, and
they go for.
Have you guys played Moonrakers?
This is my first Ivy Studios game at all.
I would like to play Moonrakers now. Anyway, sorry, Tim.
Yeah, no, I mean, I knew other people were getting it, so I was looking forward to playing it.
So I think my first interaction on this, I'm teleported back to the time where I walked into old version of Dungeons Gate, and I decided to buy Hadrian's Wall, and I picked it up, and I was like, why is this game so heavy? And when I opened it, I saw all of the, the massive pad of the sheets that you use, and I was like, this is crazy. And then this was just that times like 4, because this box is gigantic and all the things that are inside of it. So it was fun to kind of relive that, like, wow, there is this is a whole different thing. So I do enjoy flipping rights quite a bit, so I was pretty excited to get it played, and I knew Cam had been excited for it to come in, so I was very eager to get it played.
Yeah, this is by far like my most anticipated game of the year. Is it my favorite one that has come in for me that I've ordered without like ever getting to play it first? I haven't played Luthier enough, but I think it's going to be Luthier. But I have been really happy with this. I was very excited. The first play didn't let me down. And I had, I think, the traditional highs and lows I've had when I end up actually really liking a game. So my prognosis is positive for future enjoyment of Tend.
I mean, pros, I think I'm going to say the toy factor of the game, the stampers, the scratch off, that kind of stuff. Is
holographic
cool.
cards.
The holographic cards, like it's all...
And big, nice looking dice that you like flip to like increase the value of your crops and animals.
Yeah, it's all great. It's all very well done. The art's cool. But Jake did say the box is like the same size as like a Lacerda box. So it's big. It's got a lot of stuff in there. Everybody gets their own things. I think Cam...
I mean, to be fair, this is like the Big Daddy double box that plays like 12 people,
This is the
right?
12-player version.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what is different between this and retail.
But you know what? It's big because there's 200 of each sheet.
Okay.
Because like the 12-player expansion is only like 6 extra boards about like that size. And
more markers.
Yeah. Well, actually, it didn't even give me more. I only got 36 markers. So you got to share markers with your neighbors if you're going to play with 12 people. or they have to have poopy colored pencils.
Mm.
The 6 people who I'd like less, they're not on my top 8, not on my top 6.
Are the stampers part of the colored
No,
base
he said
game?
colored
I don't
pencils.
think so. I think it's colored pencils.
Okay. What about the scratch and sniff?
The scratch offs, I think, are part of the base
Okay.
game. Mm-hmm. Yep, I think so. I think you get 100 sheets in the base game of the farm, the cargo, and the scratch offs, and then I think you still get the dice. You don't get the coins, which we'll get to that when we get cons, because these coins are not nice for scratching off cards. They are nice looking coins. I don't think you get the play mat. Maybe you do. Maybe.
To be fair, I think all board game coins would be bad at doing that.
Yeah, well, you need serrated, like you need you need like rough edges, right, of some kind.
Quarters not included.
Quarters work. Quarters are great. Oh, I thought you weren't including quarters in the coins that would work good.
No, I'm saying in the box they weren't included.
Yeah, they could have just included quarters and charged you another $3. So
Yeah, there's a nice, again, I don't know if this is the basic one, there's a nice neoprene mat that sits in the middle. And again, as Ken mentioned earlier, I mean, for novelty purposes, again, other than legacy games, I don't think I've seen games that have scratch. So that instantly is going to separate it from other games, because it's just not something that many people have probably played with.
If only it had pull tabs.
yeah, that's too bad. That really is too bad.
We need to make a flippin' pull tab game.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just get like you just play the game one time. It's in a huge box. And you're just like pulling tons of tabs.
Well, I was joking that I'm like, I was kind of like bingo with the daubers, and then I end up having daubers.
Yes.
And
you know what would be a sick Kickstarter is a game that's just full of pull tabs, and you get it out with 12 of your friends, and you do it for like a Christmas party, and one of the pull tabs just gives them like $100 towards the company's next Kickstarter campaign.
It's pretty funny.
Whoever gets it. Ivy Studios, this is your next project.
you got to be able to make pull tabs some kind of mechanism somehow.
Yeah.
I got it.
I mean, the scratching, you got to decide where you're going to scratch. You just decide what you're going to pull.
Yeah.
But pull tabs you don't decide with the pull tab. The pull tab is like a foregone conclusion. You get the ticket and you've already won or lost.
But not if you don't get to pull all the things.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm scratching
pull tabs where you have to choose how many you pull?
No. Well, there's,
but in this
scratches.
but in this game,
in
it's
this
not
game
like
there
I'm.
is.
In this
Okay.
game, I'm not scratching the whole thing when I get it. Right, I'm only scratching like selected boxes and areas.
Got it.
Scratches, you scratch everything too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not always. There's some scratchies where they won't, right? Because what was the old bingo one that everybody had so much fun with once upon a time? Did you scratch
The crosswords and you get the letters. You do scratch all the letters.
Oh,
out,
you
but don't
you-
scratch the letter if you don't get it on your crossword.
That's what it is. So it is also a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
So
there's that little thing you
could just
scan
buy them and have
corner.
them scan it and
Yep.
see whether or not.
Yeah,
you
you just have to be able to you just got to basically scratch off the part that tells you if you won or not, the little code.
So really, buying lottery tickets is just an activity. Just
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also called a poor tax in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's heavy.
Who's got other pros?
So again, this kind of leans into the idea if you like rolling rights or flipping rights, but there is a lot of potential to set up things that kind of windfall on each other. Most and right games, give you that wombo combo feel of this gives me this, which gives me this. And there are definitely turns where that happens, especially if you're doing the tend action, which is where you're planning things, because that is actually a phase that happens before you take your turn. So potentially you're resolving all the things that come from that, and then you go into your action. So there can be turns where you feel a lot, and you get a lot, but there are also the opposite of that, which I think is something that we'll talk about on the other side.
There is a to me, this game is a pretty light on the flip and or roll and whatever. It's definitely you definitely do a lot of writing. So don't get it wrong. You're going to cross a lot of boxes in this game, but this game is set up so that you have your choice of 5 actions every round. There are only 4 types of actions. There's a couple cards that just give you coins. So there's basically, you're going to put out 5 cards. Most of the cards do one of the 4 actions. Many of the cards give you another choice of one of 2 actions on that specific card. So I have played rounds where I'm like, oh, there's not an opportunity to fish. I've played the game 3 times, and one time the spread excluded me from doing the action I actually wanted to do. one time in 36.
Okay.
So
I would say that happened quite a bit.
that happened to you guys. Well, you guys
Yeah.
were playing with the starter
Correct.
cards.
Yeah.
Like you weren't playing with so when you play with the full mix of cards, remember you're throwing
There's
out
multiple options on
many
that
cards
top.
to give you like 2 options. So like you'll see like tend, chop, mine, fish, get some coins, tend, chop. So like you have the opportunity to do everything. So it's more, the game is like where like the randomness comes into the game is you shuffle all the action cards back into the deck and you're hoping, oh, I was able to capitalize on this one that was really good. I hope that comes back through before the end of the game. Because, the deck does get pretty thick because you're adding 2 cards to it every round and you only put out 3 new cards every round because you grab 2 or you only put 3 of the cards you've already seen out every round. But you can, what that means is you can do a fair amount of planning in this game. And I think that's nice because you are dealing with a pretty elaborate production. Like, this isn't Yahtzee where it's like, it's just going to be done in 15 minutes. I hope I have good luck. And like I make some strategic choices. Second, this is more strategy first, luck second, which I think is nice for something this big.
I don't know. It felt really bad when I fished the first round and I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't know why they made that choice. The pond, and this is kind of a con, right? The pond, like there's only one spot in the game where you can get absolutely nothing for taking an action, and the pond has some blank spaces on it. If it were up to me, I would just probably house rule, if you fail, you get a coin.
Yeah, that would have felt better.
Because the coins are meaningful.
100%. And that's one of my pros is whatever you get, the decision on what you do with that thing is pretty important. Like, do you upgrade to an item to make your actions better? Do you buy the thing you need? Do you turn it into points by putting it over in that area? I mean, there's a lot of different choices you can make with everything you get. And I actually do like the sharing card thing because if you get something that you like, oh, I really don't want that at all, or like I'd rather get the cool thing for the sharing instead of a coin or 2 coins or something, then you can do that and you give it to your partner or the person to your right or left. So at first that was kind of underwhelming to me, but then I kind of understood it more, and I think that's pretty cool.
Well, and the unfortunate thing is you guys didn't end up playing with like the whole stack of like the extra card. Like you start getting more and more stuff. And the choices to like, what am I going to do with the things I think were really intoxicating the first time I played, and they're still fun a few plays in, because we kind of glazed over this, but every item you get in this game. So this is kind of different than from Hadrian's Wall, where you have a big, like pile of stuff and you have to figure out how to appropriate it, and you continue to add to the pile as you go through things, but then you're still doing recipes from the pile. In this game, you deal with one item at a time the whole time. What am I going to do with this item? Okay, now that I've done that, like this happens, and you do some chains, like a chain reaction, and then you go take another action.
The exception to that is coins, though, because if you sell a good and then using those coins could potentially
get you a lot of stuff
to do something else, but then you still have coins left to utilize. So that is something that I actually felt I missed. I mean, I know in Hadrian's Wall it's a lot of grabbing things and moving things back and forth, but especially with coins, when you sell, especially the big goods, which get you a lot of coins, it can be difficult to remember where you were in that process.
Hey, here's a thought. Those coins in the game suck. Whenever you get coins, just grab a handful
I think that would be helpful,
and then,
for sure.
Okay, so now we found something to do with the coins, especially if you're playing solo. You would never have 12 coins. So like you could play with like 3 people and never have a problem with that then. And that would be a great way to like counting the coins. Yeah. Well, hey, look at that. That's a pro now.
Cha-ching. I think that, I guess we're kind of going free-flowing because Rob jumped into some things on the other side. I do think that, granted, I've played this game 3 times now, and every time I had not done the thing that we did wrong. The first time it worked out. I was just able to keep hitting the high actions, and now I'm really understanding how lucky that game was. Yeah. But I feel like the upgrades are challenging to get, especially with some of the requirements. There's just not an easy way to get some things. So specifically, if you can't fulfill the obligations of your partner cards, it's hard to get those, heart permits.
You do know that you can trade out your partner cards, right?
You can, yeah. That's true. I mean, we were actually redrawing them every time too, which you're not supposed to until then we switched that partway through. But
what do you mean?
As in, like, these are the 2 you had. Every round you grab additional ones, which you
Oh,
can do,
you
but
were
you don't have to.
doing them no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah, you just have the choice to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, just there are some hurdles that ultimately require you to get the right things that I feel like maybe it takes a little bit. Again, in the perfect situation, you could get them really fast, but it could take longer than is ideal to get those upgrades to make your actions feel better. Because for all of them at the beginning, it's you do it once, unless you have you spent the coins to do the energy bar. So it feels a little steep to get that initial input, which really lets you start excelling. Now, granted, with the other cards that potentially are giving you the bottom things, that feel could be very different, but that is something that I've kind of felt.
I totally agree. And I would say with the randomness of the actions, like that plays into that too. And that, if you need hardwood or whatever it is, the tree stump, and you're going to go try to chop down the level 1 mine, or level 1 forest, you may or may not get it, right? Where heavier rolling around like Cadrian's Wall, you know exactly what you're going to get for you put something in, you get something out, and you know exactly what it is before you do it. Where fishing, mining, forestry, you don't know what you're going to get before you put it in.
I will say I'm a big fan of the reveal, so I like the scratch it off and see what I get. But if you're a planner, that's not going to be good for you.
Well, and there's a couple things
Either.
with that too. One of the fishing, to get the lures, you got to get that little sap pot. But is the only place you can get that from the bottom part, bottom of one of the scratching things? And
No. You can also get it by finishing off one of your neighbors.
Okay.
There's a neighbor that gives it to you, and then there is a some of the cards can give you special items. You might be able to get it in the geode. You might be able to get it in one of the ponds. So there's guaranteed ways to get them that you have to do a lot of work for. And then there's so the guaranteed way is finish off the neighbor. That takes a while. That's going to take you half the game if you're really just gunning towards that. So that's not the main way you want to upgrade your lure. The lures are hard to upgrade, and they're hard to upgrade by design. And I think it's because fishing is so powerful in this game. Fishing controls a lot of the neighbor cards. Fish can be cashed for good amounts of coin. And coin kind of runs the game early in the game. And so this is something when you said hey, this is tough to do, where I've found that the game, you can kind of control your first upgrade, because the 3 main upgrades, mining, tending, and chopping, you can get a purple and red ticket by doing 4 neighbor actions, your first 2 neighbor actions on each side. Well, you might not be getting the right neighbor cards, but you can also get a purple and red ticket by spending 5 coins. So an upgrade costs a red rock, a gray rock, and 9 coins. If worst case scenario, you can buy a red rock for 1 coin. So 10 coins and a gray rock. So you may get hosed in mining for a little bit.
It's 3 coins for an iron, the gray rock, I think. I think that's one of the projects.
Oh, yeah, you can buy one of those too. So worst case scenario, you can spend 13 coins. And so early in the game, if you are getting neighbor cards from other players, if you have a couple eggs or something going, and you're just taking your actions and you're just shoveling everything into cash, you can just gronk out an upgrade in the first few rounds of the game.
So, I mean, I get that that's definitely possible. It feels like for what that does for you and the feel of your progress in the game, it maybe it's too strenuous for. At least that's been my perception of it, and that could again be entirely different based on how the cards and the other better actions and the rewards.
Well, this game's not noob friendly. You have to start mathing it, and this is maybe a con to the game. It's very fun, and I really have enjoyed it. But it took me a little bit to start going okay. Look at the deck. Look at my board. What does my guy like? Oh, I get 2 points per fish in this middle column, so I got to do a lot of fishing. Then you look up and hey, I'm going to get an extra geode for 12 tilled soil, so I got to take a tend action right away and get that. And how can I start getting those extra bonuses? Because every extra bonus I get, I can probably translate into a few coins. And now I have a few extra coins coming in every round, and I can start buying these projects that make my life easier. But that just what that does mean is you have to start trying to spin up your action efficiency really early in the game, which I think a lot of people would find unpalatable.
One other thing that this is pretty minor, but I think the scratch offs are a fun are fun component, but it's really easy to nick a little aside. And because the backgrounds, if they give you an upgrade, are shaded a different color, it's sometimes you can't help but see that, and then that kind of influences your direction on
One
where to
hundo
go.
P.
So I definitely think that maybe the app version of clicking things is preferable, even though the scratch off is unique and it's a fun thing with that.
You have more control with a quarter. Like when I was playing with a quarter, I didn't cheat accidentally a few times. But like with those big coins, it's like almost impossible not to like crack a little bit of the other. Yeah.
And I remember my other thing I was going to say. So unlike Hadrian's Wall, which again, this game isn't a ton like outside of the fact that it's a flip and right, there is in Hadrian's Wall, when you, as Tim kind of alluded to, when you get a resource, you know exactly what that resource can use for you. And Cam mentioned in the beginning of this game that, coins are really important in the beginning because they help build the things that you're trying to accomplish and unlocking things. But you definitely run into a point where the things that you're getting start to lose their utility. And then it kind of becomes what am I going to do with this? There was a lot of times where I would just have a rogue wood as a result of something. And I'm like, I don't know. And then it wasn't going to be worth trying to scan to figure out where I might get it. So I don't know. There's kind of a weird intermixing with that too.
Yeah, I felt that way in my third play of the game when I was like, I think I did too good because like I was just wasting actions. And where I went back to was like I looked at my whole badge side of the board, which I think is pretty easy to ignore because you're basically just giving stuff up. Like, and not really getting anything other than like stamps on your cargo sheet and points at the end of the game. So it's kind of hard to like get in the mindset of, hey, I just have to give this stuff away forever. But I think where you start like cranking out good scores is like getting a piece of wood and going like, be good, don't spend that for the coin. Like you're going to have a bunch of stuff at the end of the game, so use it in this badge.
Well, see, one of the things with that too, though, like badges by design are challenging because you have to fill 2 rows of the 3. So it's essentially 6 inputs to get something. And then you reach a point in the game where you're deep enough into it where you're like, I'm not going to get that badge. I don't have enough time to finish it. So then it's like, well, now what do I do with the resource? So that's where I found it, I think, more so. In my first game, ironically, where I did by far the best, that's the one where I got a lot of badges because I did just have this influx and it was clear I was going to be able to make those targets.
Where I'm excited to like play the game long term is in seeing how like much I can give to the badges and still get powerful enough to fill my cargo manifest at the end, because I think that's like I think there's like a pretty hard point cap of like 200 or so until you can start like figuring out how to like see that matrix. And I think that's where the game gets fun for me again. And I think this will be a long-term game that I love if I can. And I think it'll fall off for me if I can't like figure it out.
I equate this. I mean, I get this similar feeling to Hadrian's Wall and the Anarchy, like the big spreadsheet puzzle games. Just not my thing. For a lot of people, you're going to like the puzzle and you're going to like all the cross this off, get that, do this, do that. And I don't know, like for some reason, maybe it was just the layout in this one. Plus they added in more cards for like the fishing and like there's others, like there's a lot to look at for.
You got the board with all the conversions.
Like, yeah, I'm like, where am I going to get this thing to do the thing I want to do? Okay, I got this thing. Where can I put it to do what? And I don't know. It was a lot. Same as the other ones. So, but that's just my con. Like, it's just if you like that kind of thing, then you're going to be into it. Also, for the most part, it's a head down solo experience. So you're not really competing for anything besides giving your neighbor stuff.
It's so head down that you might not even notice that somebody gave you something, but you use it at the beginning of the round, so that's fine. But
yeah, so it's not even a specific con with this game, but of games of this ilk, I guess. So
I think this is a great soloer game. You miss out on like the neighbor thing, which is fun, but you still like the whole purpose of the neighbors really is to get you the cool items that the neighbor tracks have in the first place. So
it is nice. That's a different way to get stuff.
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of nice in that regard that it gives you those options. It's interesting that the BGG said it's best 3 to 6 and not like 1, 3 to 6, because I think those are kind of different ways to approach it. But because you're so much doing the things you want, I feel personally like the benefits you get from the neighbor cards aren't worth not being able to move at the timeline you want to move at. for me anyways. But also, again, as we've documented many times, I just enjoy more of the game than the interaction.
What didn't you like about the neighbor cards?
No, I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm just saying that I don't think the benefit of getting the stuff from your neighbors is enough for me to not just play on my timeline. So I would rather play solo and not get the influx of the goods and then just be able to take the next turn when I'm ready, then potentially get those and then be waiting for other people to finish what it is that they're doing.
In my opinion, and I've played solo and I've played with people, but my first game was solo, my later games are with people, so I might go back and solo like way better. Getting the neighbor cards from people is actually phenomenal because you get to use those neighbor cards like once you have kind of finished the round and you know what's coming, and a lot of times it gives you like that one little extra piece to get something going before the growth phase happens or a scoring phase happens. So you can get like more powerful from them happening. But my con for the game is one of the most complex things about the game that can get really annoying is the neighbor cards, because you only refill the neighbor cards during the end of the neighbor phase. And so you refill the neighbor cards at the end of the neighbor phase, but if you give a neighbor card out at the beginning of the neighbor phase, you don't get to refill it. It's just kind of a weird, hinky thing. And the whole thing is designed to make it so you can only complete one neighbor card per entire round. But it just gets kind of weird. It's like, okay, so if I get something during the neighbor phase from Rob that I now give to Jake via my neighbor card, I don't fill my card, but does Jake get to use the neighbor bonus? And there you see it's a chicken or egg situation. Rob looks so ready to give this game his final thoughts.
All right, final thoughts time here on the Board Boys podcast. Tend is the game we're talking about, in case you missed it. And we have a 3-boing rating scale, 0 being the worst, 3 being the best. One time you can give your 4-boing game, half boings are allowed.
I don't think you should say that one time anymore. Since,
I'm just saying it.
You know how I've dealt with this is in my head canon. Rob's just only ever given us 4-boing one time.
Yeah, I don't know how else you do it.
That's how I've rationalized it. I just have a glitch in the matrix.
Okay, how about this? You may have one 4-boing game at a time.
Fixed.
Is that
Fixed.
better?
Fixed.
That cheapens the fourth most. I like my rationalization better. Like la 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 la. You know that.
A 0-boing game of Tend is
You don't shuffle the cards back into the deck, and you
the game we played tonight,
the 3-starter cards.
Because we didn't play it right. And the 3-boing game is, I think you just yell bingo a lot because you just keep using them daubers.
Everybody gives you stuff, yeah.
Damn daubers.
Yeah, everybody just gives me all their things. I'm everybody's neighbor at the table.
That is the 3-boing game, is you're everybody's neighbor.
Won't you be my neighbor? Man, there should be a really good Mr. Rogers game. All right, anyway.
Let's design it.
I'll go first. Not my kind of game. We didn't play it right. I can see the value. Like, if it got more into the combo-wombo part, I really liked the fishing, because I think fishing is fun in board games, even more fun than in real life. And
you get the fish right away, that's why.
Just about anything is more fun than fishing in real life.
I agree.
So I'm going to go, man, it's a 1.5 to 2 for me. I really want to give it a 1.75. I'm trying to decide if I like it more than Spreadsheet the game.
I think you should just give it a ghost 2 since you haven't played it the correct way yet. And then go down to a 1.5.
You gave the Anarchy a 2, I'm pretty sure.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go with 2 then.
I like that. That's what I like.
All right, I'll go next. I have probably pretty similar feelings to you. I think I would have given it a 1.5 like out of the gate had we not had that just how we played it been how the game was. I'm going to give it a 2 because I think it could actually be much more fun, because I think both times I played it with Jake, I was like, I am literally not doing anything in this game. Like, all I am doing is getting a rock and a coin, and that's the end of my turn. So
yeah, that changes drastically around round 4.
Yeah, Cam came down and was like, man, so much wombo combo, and I'm like, I didn't do anything.
So Cam came down and was like, oh, you guys are having a hard game, because like we're basically in round 10, and like we had like 6 things in our cargo manifest and like 4 things blocked off. So yeah, I think it's a 2. I'd love to play it the correct way, but
The real question was like, hey, why are all these green cards over here?
Yeah. It finally got there. But yeah, I do think if you like this sort of thing, this is a fun game for you.
Yeah, I'm going to parrot a lot of things that everybody said. I do enjoy, X and rights quite a bit, so it is fun for me. I definitely don't think I like it as much as the other two that I really kind of consider the gold standard of this. But theme is probably part of that and somewhat of the loop within itself. But I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it even though we've played it wrong, so I think I would enjoy it even more. I do potentially worry about the longevity of me wanting to be able to play and potentially do different things each time and being able to finish the things that you want to do. But I enjoy it, and I'd be happy to play it again. So it's a 2 boing for me as well.
I don't think this game will ever hit 3 for me, just as much as I love the vibe of it. Just because I think that, I just want 10 to 2, where they fix a lot of the things that I think keep this game from reaching the highest of heights. But I really, really, really love the concept, and I think the gameplay loop is really fun. And this is a game that I think I would like to crack out over the next few years when there's a big board game thing going on, and everybody can experience Tend,
Mhm.
Because you can play with you're not even limited to 12 people. I just have 12 players worth of stuff in the box. But if I went out and bought 80 colored pencils or whatever, you could play this with 20 people and just you sit around a table and because you could get the app out on your phone and cast it up to a huge screen and everybody can just see what the cards are that round. And hey, you ready for next round? Boop. Okay, there's the next round. So I like that. I like its party potential. And we all know that I'm all about a party for the world. So 2.5.
Cool. All right. Well, that will wrap us up for Tend. We do like to look back 1 year in the past in the Board Boys podcast for something we call the bumper dump. Cam, hit us with that music.
Baby, turn around. I wanna see that sexy board game go. Board Boys bump. Did you get a fancy version of that with the new cables?
We did, yeah. No popping and cracking. So, all right. So we were looking at Andromeda's Edge, which was 8.5 for 849. It is now 8.3.
Huge bump.
Yeah. It's 212 right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that way above Dwellings of
No,
Eldervale?
I think Eldervale is just outside the top 100.
Oh, that's good because Eldervale is better, right? Do we all agree on that?
I don't remember how to play Dwellings of Eldervale.
You remember how to play Andromeda's Edge?
I mean, no, because I couldn't play it on BGA. But
BGA is a big stink for me with that game.
Yeah, Eldervale's 122.
I do not. I remember not having a lot of fun with. I mean, it was fine. It was.
We did teams.
Yeah,
that was maybe one of the maddest I've ever seen Cam get at a game.
Yeah, I had played it before that.
Andromeda's Edge.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah,
did
Why did I get mad at Andromeda's
because you two lost every single roll.
every
You played
combat,
the
yeah.
entire
Oh,
And I was rolling.
yeah.
I was rolling hot sixes.
Was
on,
it real mad or just incredulous Cam?
No, this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
threw something.
You at your hat.
I think I
I'm
threw my
pretty
hat.
sure.
Yeah. I love throwing my hat
But it
when
was
rolls go bad.
it wasn't even always us battling. It was Tim rolling for the bot.
For the bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hit
Yeah.
him.
I was really on a roller coaster with this one. I ended up selling it, but I played it at Sobo and I really like it. It came back around for me. I don't think I need the Super Mega Mondo box. The retail is just fine and it's probably easier to get out and play that way. But yeah, I think I really want to play Eldervale again now that we're talking about it, but
Yeah, bro.
I want to play Eldervale again.
Andromeda's Edge, definitely, and it's going to come back around again too because they just dropped an expansion for it in crowdfunding that did pretty well. So
Eldervale vibe is so much better.
I mean, I like the fantasy thing. We reviewed so many space games
Right.
recently.
But the thing is, in Eldervale or in Andromeda's Edge, if you were putting your ruler and your subterfuge guy out on the board and your smuggler, I think I would have the same love for the vibe that I do with it. I like the personal touch of putting my grunts out on the board and my dragon or whatever and my wizard. And I think if that translated the same way to the ships, I'd make it so much more impersonal. And then the alien races are that kind of what's that what's that huge space game you really like, Rob, that came out like last year with like the really dark art and like the art there's like really black and purple and
Last
blue.
Light.
No, not Last Light, the heavier one, the Euro-y one. Voidfall. Like it's the same thing I think in Andromeda's Edge with Voidfall, where it's like I can see like that like my faction, like I can pick from like the guys who wear masks and like there's a bunch of clouds, or I can pick from like the guys who have masks and like or there's a bunch of like they're like the fantasy, like the space races are not. I like you can't like it's not like TI4 where I can see that like, oh, I'm like the dog people or I'm like the elves, you know, or like the snake women, you know. I like that kind of space faction sort of thing when I can like see the big gelatinous fish in the tank and be like, I'm them, you know.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand what, like, do you guys feel that same way? Or no?
I don't remember the factions enough in Andromeda's Edge, but
I think that's kind of the point, right? That they just don't stand out as much as the Dwellings ones do.
Yeah, and like it's the same for Void. And like I like those games, but I wish it was more.
I remember putting the hats on the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what? In Dwellings
Yeah.
of Eldervale?
Yeah.
They were hats?
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
turn into buildings.
They turn into
essentially.
buildings.
Oh,
You put
yeah,
a
yeah,
building on top of it. Yeah.
I was thinking about that game Jake brought with the tree where you put on like
Oak.
that was a really nice touch.
I mean, the new Great Western Trail, you put hats on the little guys too.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to give us feedback, you can do so at our Board Game Geek Guild. You can find that through our website, boardboys.com. So this one is going to be a lot. So Jeremy Dobler, I felt like I really enjoyed my first play in person. The toy factor was really high, but then it came to BGA. I played a handful of times on there and realized removing the toy factor, I don't really care for the game as a whole. So much so later on in those BGA games, I just kind of yada-yada'd my turns and I wanted to be done with it. One boing. Not going to play it again unless it's the only thing left on the table to play. BJ from Board Game Gumbo says same. I was so hyped for this game that maybe the hype got me. One boing for him, just not my cup of Andromeda tea. Logan Lanou, so a new poster here. As per usual, BJ and Jeremy are wrong. Well, I admit this game isn't perfect. I enjoy the combat and find it very unique. I guess I need to find a group of cooler people to play my copy with. 2 boings. Ryan says, I echo all the comments above, including Logan's. I thought it was neat, but not too exciting. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind a play or two if asked. I did end up getting rid of my copy. I was going to cheat and say 1.25 boings, but if I have to do half increments, he's going to do 1.5. Nate Simmons says, wow, I didn't think I'd be the odd man out, claiming this is a 3-boing game for him. Still stands as my game of the year for 2024, closely followed by SETI. I love engine building and building the components and all the different upgrades. Seen a lot of strategies succeed with the way players lean into their modules. Jeremy Thoman, mixed feelings on this game so far. I say 2 boings. The combat and building the engine and running it is pretty fun, but building towards the big buildings for points, going up the tracks is just okay. I've scored the most points from just going for resources and going up the resource track to the max, but I'm not sure it's fun to do that. I wouldn't say no to a play though. So the feedback we got does not directly reflect a game that is in the top 250 game. Like 2 1 boings, like I guess we got a 3 or whatever, but
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know.
I don't know how many times I played it with BJ, and I don't know if he fully grokked it early enough, or I think he got smacked down pretty hard. I'm not sure if he's played it again or not. I think I did some of the smacking, so sorry about that.
Did you smack him down on the nugs?
Yeah, slapped the nugs a little bit, but yeah, that is, I mean, pretty divisive. I mean,
Yeah.
I had the same kind of feeling. Like I never felt like it was a 1 boing, but I definitely was on a roller coaster. Like you can play that game and do like just spin your wheels and do nothing. It's not a game that you can just play. Like you have to be able to move up the right tracks to score the points and to do the things. And you got to have to be purposeful and meaningful. And, you know, sometimes you just lose dice rolls is kind of what it breaks down to. It's not as bad as Eldervale though. Like at least you get something if you lose, or
I felt that pain.
you get more in this game from losing than you do in Eldervale. So I think it's a little more forgiving anyway. All right. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Board Boys Podcast, Season 17, Episode 9, Tend from Ivy Studios. If you go to theboardboys.com, you can go there and join our Discord or our Patreon and support us. You can also go there to give us 5-star reviews, Spotify and iTunes. Come play some board game arena with Campbell and, us too, I suppose.
Yeah, baby.
He's down to like 5 games or
Yeah,
something.
well, I'm really late on a lot of stuff because I had such a busy last 2 weeks. So I'm trying to get like out of that hole. But I did just send a bunch of new invites out. So
There you
we'll
go.
see.
Well, I would like to thank our patrons now: BJ from Board Game Gumbo, Timothy Crisco, Shifty Teeth, Jordan Smith, Andre Bosch, Braden Dowdy, Rob Cooper, Richard Lane, Matt Kelly, Portland Gamecraft, Terry Ward, and Jeremy Thoman. Thank you once again for all your support. We really appreciate it. And until next time, we hope you like board games.
And listen, very soon there will be a party for the world. Boing, boing, boing. I've been thinking about Steve Walsh a lot recently. R.I.P. to the greatest.
Rip.
It's that time of the year where I think about Steve Walsh.